Now better? Thank you. How many of you are entrepreneurs? Deep tech entrepreneurs? Okay, not too many. Okay, fantastic. So this was meant to be inspiring the entrepreneurs, so we'll try to inspire the non-entrepreneurs also and see if we can do a good job. I'm given this responsibility to put together the best of India and deep tech. My name is Arpit. I've been part of the deep tech ecosystem for the last 15 years, trying to do a lot of commercialization activity and investing in some deep tech companies. My firm, Bloom Ventures, has been known for making some of the best deep tech investments over the last 14, 15 years. And we have been at it for a long time. I personally feel very passionate about all the three founders who are part of our session today. Before I begin, Mr. Nambiar has done a very good job of putting together all the data that I was going to talk about. So I'll rush through it and will only talk about why it matters to all of you. For the longest time, as you know, in India, we have been looking at services businesses, and that has graduated into software products as well. And now AI is the emerging wave. However, if you look at everything which is not software first, you would realize that there are so many things in the world which are not focused on just software. There are things which have to be done in real world. It is bits versus atoms. That piece is what we are calling deep tech. Of course, deep tech does include AI, but we're excluding it for this analysis. It is amazing to see that in the last 10 years, we have become number 6th in the world in the deep tech arena. It is fantastic to be here. A lot of very good companies have been created over the last few years. Some of the companies, as you may be aware, Aether Energy hit IPO this year. There was a company called IdeaForge, which has also become India's largest drone manufacturer. The beautiful part about this is that many of them were just students or professors in Indian universities like IIT Bombay or IIT Madras. Unifor is an amazing example of an IIT Madras technology taking to the market. Carbon Clean is one of our portfolio companies, which is looking at which has become probably the world's leader in carbon capture. It does carbon capture cheaper than anyone else can. Obviously, this means that we are here, we have a lot of good examples to show, and we will definitely win the world. And obviously, this is not just limited to, my God, the icons are all over the place. This is not just limited to one sector. The beautiful part about our deep tech is that it's very, very broad. It is not just limited to software or hardware. There are 6,000 plus companies supported by BIRAC in biotechnology. 8,000 crore quantum mission, and Mr. Nambiar already mentioned, has come to life, and companies are getting funded. An outstanding amount of money is coming in via ANRF, and we will talk more about that later in the day. There's 76,000 crore of semiconductor mission which has come to life, and a lot of early stage companies are getting supported by this, and so on and so forth. It's a very wide range of stuff that is getting done here in India with our entrepreneurs. 3 of them will be part of this group in the next few minutes with you. And this is what is interesting to me. Funding is happening, more funding is happening, and more funding will happen. Companies are scaling up. You know, there are a lot of interesting firms. Sorry, this got called muddled up. I'm sorry about that. I definitely would want to mention Bloom Ventures, but yeah, there are so many other firms doing excellent job. There's Pi Ventures, Special. I don't know where Arjun is on this in this group right now or not, but so many good people who will be part of the panels today who are coming and powering. One important thing which you may like to remember and take back from this session is that as an investor, it is not an obvious thing to invest behind deep tech. Anyone knows why? Yes. It is one, a longer cycle, and also very important, we have not seen this playing out. So because we don't know how to plays out, I don't know how to really model this. And hence it becomes harder. You can also argue that people are not smart enough to understand technology, but usually that's not true. We will wrap our mind if we need to. But that is an important piece to remember. However, with all the advantages that we have, we still have a long way to go, even though they are far ahead. Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? No? Can you hear me better now? Okay. Even though we are far ahead, better now? Yeah. Even though we are far ahead, there's a lot more, even though they are far ahead, there's a lot more money that they are pumping into their deep tech sector. So yeah, we can't sit idle. We can sit still, and we definitely have a lot more to push. With that, just covering the summary of all the numbers that is out there, I think the time has come. For those of you who are deep tech entrepreneurs, reach out to any of us. For those of you who are thinking of starting in deep tech, reach out to any of us. Happy to help and see what we can do. Without further ado, I want to invite my first speaker on the panel today. This lady has been, is very much for like one of you, who has been part of a very large company. And over her career, also an MBA, over her career, she realized that her real calling lies inside doing deep tech. May I have on stage and her video, please? Production team, can I have video for Laina Emmanuel?
At Eyestem, we reignite hope in the eyes of nearly 196 million people.
It's not Eyestem, it is BrainSight. Yeah, happens. Why don't you come upstairs here, Laina? Thank you. So, what I'm going to talk to Laina about would be about her career and her transition into being a deep tech entrepreneur.
Your daughter is in surgery and you asked me if surgery will preserve what makes them uniquely them. Over 14 million people undergo brain surgery every single year, and every single neurosurgeon I know has been asked this question. The challenge is we have limited tools in understanding brain function. And it's especially difficult for people who have to undergo instructions for a task-based MRI.
Introducing VoxelBox, the groundbreaking BrainSightAI platform. All you have to do is upload MRI scans, and in just 12 minutes, it generates personalized maps of up to 7 brain networks, automatically with 0 manual effort, which helps in improving brain analysis and directly enhancing surgical outcomes. This is a true game changer for neurocare. Imagine the discoveries when mapping isn't the bottleneck anymore. BrainSightAI. Navigate to the future of brain mapping.
Thank you. Thank you. Am I still audible? Yes? Thank you. So, Laina, there are more than 80% of this audience which is still in corporate. And you are also in corporate. Tell us, what is this journey like?
Right, absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here. And especially with people who are from corporate. And I think the fact that I came from a corporate career, I was doing operating system design at NetApp, and before that at Cisco's Offshore Development Center at Infosys. So I did that for a couple of years and then went to do public health because I cared a lot about impact. And then after an MBA started this company. And I think a lot of where BrainSight is today is because I have had significant experience in corporate to be able to constantly think of, okay, here's what I need to systematize in the company, because as you grow bigger, and today we are a 50-member company, we're working with over 31 hospitals. In fact, we are working commercially with over 31 and a lot more who we are working with. So it takes a lot of like going from being a startup to a much more systematic company, and I think that's all due to all the learnings from corporate, yeah.
Do you get the confidence that you have because you worked in a NetApp and Infosys?
Of course, absolutely. I think when you work with some of the smartest people, and they challenge you, I think you kind of learn that, hey, I can do things and I can do new, exciting things. And so it's not scary to start a startup when you work with the smartest people.
Do you think that there will be always a backup plan if you were to go back?
That is such a hard question, Arvind. I think
Does it play on your mind?
No, I think I really enjoy building BrainSight. I really think that the work we are doing here has so much impact and so much potential that I don't see myself going back to a career in a different field. Maybe in this field itself, always.
So what enables an entrepreneur from a corporate career into this? Must be family, must be partners, and so on?
Right. I think I'm I'm very lucky to have a family which is deeply supportive. They don't understand what I'm doing, so I don't think my in-laws or my parents understand what I'm doing. They're always like, hey, are you doing okay? Is everything okay? Are you still earning money? If not, I'll send you money. All of that happens, certainly, but I don't think I will be able to do what I'm doing without the support of my family and my husband, who himself runs a startup. And it gets really, I mean, startups are messy, startups are hard, startups are a lot of work. So unless you have a family which is supportive, I don't think you can survive.
Fantastic. And the pivot entirely into neuroscience, you probably did not understand much of it.
Right.
How does that work out?
Absolutely. No, I think because we've done operating system design, because I've been in a family of, like my father was an artist slash a person who loved reading a lot of science, and so I've always grown up reading a lot of like
Move closer.
I've grown up reading a lot of like scientific articles and scientific books and like the joy of science. So it didn't seem very hard to shift into neuroscience. Of course, the first year was hard because I also had to read hundreds of papers on neuroscience while building the company, while trying to figure out that, hey, will neurosurgeons like us, or will neurologists like us, or will psychiatrists like us? And being able to talk to them neuroscience while I'm still reading it was a hard thing, but it happened.
Thank you, Laina.
Yeah, thank you.
A round of applause for Laina, please. I want to invite my next speaker, Dr. Jogin Desai. Can I have Eyestem video, which you played first, please?
At Eyestem, we reignite hope in the eyes of nearly 196 million people globally suffering from dry AMD, a degenerative condition that dims vision and steals clarity from everyday life. Age-related macular degeneration, AMD, manifests in two forms, wet and dry. A severe progression of dry AMD is known as geographic atrophy. In dry age-related macular degeneration, AMD, the macula gradually deteriorates, causing blurred or distorted central vision. Eyestem's patented EyeSight RPE restores damaged RPE cells, aiming to partially reverse vision loss. Currently in clinical trials, it brings new hope for vision restoration. With every breakthrough, we move closer to a future where no one faces the fear of fading vision alone. We're not just advancing science, we're restoring clarity, dignity, and the power to experience life in all its fullness.
Thank you. Dr. Jogin Desai has been trying to solve a very hard problem in biotechnology. He has been using a disease which is otherwise has not got too much attention from global pharma. And I'm very happy to report to you that this is one of the first, I can actually speak without this. Can you hear me okay? Yes, thank you. Anyways, let's come back. Dr. Desai was a CEO at a clinical research company and for many years. How do you switch over to being an entrepreneur?
So I think it's a journey, and it starts with trying to find, a problem that does not allow you to sleep at night. I think that's the fundamental source. If you're looking for, say, starting a startup because the government has 100,000 crores, if you're looking at a startup because you are going to fund it, that's the wrong way. The first thing you do is, what is the problem you want to solve? And it's going to take time. It took me about 3 years to try and understand what the problem is. I met Rajni, who is our chief medical officer, for a completely unrelated condition. And she was talking about how these patients come. They come crying, they call her up at the middle of the night and say, I just don't want to live anymore because I'm losing my sight and all of that. And we said, we've got to do something. And that's how it all started. Once that clicks, everything else is easy.
You're saying it's easy, but it's obviously not so much. And especially if you're trying to do something which changes the order of magnitude in terms of the cost of it. How does that work?
So it's easy because, no, it's not easy in the operational sense. It's easy in the overall philosophical sense because your purpose gets ingrained in the company. Once you get purpose, saying what we want to do, so just to give you a sense, all these cell and gene therapies are going to cost $500,000 and above. right, in the West. There's nothing here for these kind of things. And we want to get it to 10,000 and below. And once you have that purpose, everything else becomes a massive slog, which has to be done. There's no option. And when you don't have an option, automatically things become easy.
And what is the future of biotech now that people like you are actually taking the leap?
I think biotech is going to be, so our...
In India, biotech in India.
Our working theory is that over the next 10 to 15 years, a lot of diseases that are currently incurable are going to start becoming treatable, if not outright incurable. You've seen this, if you follow the news, you've seen it in somebody who has implanted cells for curing diabetes. There's something for Parkinson's. We are doing this for the eye conditions. The overall return of investment in biotech over a longer term period has always been among the best. And that is true worldwide. And that is going to start becoming true for India as well, for two things. One is because our talent has increased. So we see a lot of talented, hungry people. And the other is our country is developing, right? We've got a lot more paying power. So between these two, I think we've got a very bright future.
Fantastic. What is real motivating? Is it when people are getting treated or when you'll make a lot of money?
Or 100% when people get treated. There is no question about it. It's not even a close call, right? In fact, one of the things happened is, there is an article which has mentioned it, when we did our first few surgeries, the head of retina at LV Prasad had called me after 2 months. And he said, Jogin, what have you done? And I said, you please clarify. And he said, my blind patient is walking the halls. So I said, first of all, you go there and check, because I don't want somebody else to say it. And he said, not just me, all my retina surgeons are going there to check, right? And that goosebumps is what you live for. And nothing comes close. Money is not even a close second.
Fantastic. I'll let you go to ask you to come back after a few minutes. Thank you. Dr. Jogin Desai, everyone. Can I please have Terafac video up? My next.
The world is tipping in two directions. On one side, big tech lays off thousands. And on the other, factories struggle to find skilled hands. AI can code, write tweets, while humans still do the grind. For AI to take up manufacturing, it needs to do more than just think. It needs to perceive, plan, and act with reliability and precision. Because in manufacturing, close enough is not good enough. And that's exactly what we are solving for at Terafac. AI to do the grunt work for manufacturing. We are building an intelligence layer that enables machines to do industrial tasks autonomously, bringing specialized AI workers one skill at a time. Our first product, Welty, makes welding truly autonomous. It works with off-the-shelf robots and power sources. Just select the weld on a point-and-click interface, and the system automatically scans, plans, and executes with millimeter precision. Welty adapts to variations in part placement, detects imperfections, and delivers export-grade quality, ideal for high-mix real-world factory floors. Starting with welding, we're expanding into gluing, painting, and beyond, bringing us closer to our central AI coordination layer across factories. India's manufacturing has long awaited a major transformative leap, and at Terafac, we are catalyzing it through physical intelligence. Just as Geo did for internet, we are delivering physical intelligence in sachets, modular, accessible, and built for adoption. We are building from Bharat for the world.
Thank you. Anubhi. Thank you. Anubhi, again a corporate career dropped in favor of entrepreneurship, but in mechanical engineering. And there are no women in mechanical engineering class, at least in my, I was not a mechanical engineer, but yeah, my mechanical engineering classmates did not have. How does that work for a woman?
Please excuse my throat, got a bit of a, I fell sick a few days back. Actually, I did not do mechanical engineering.
Did not? Okay.
Yes. My undergraduation was in biotechnology. It's an engineering, but biotechnology. And the reason to choose that was something different. I was crazy for badminton. That's been an important part of my life. And I represented Chandigarh Nationals for a very long time. However, after biotech, is when I realized I do not like it very much. Apologies. And I'm more of a, screwdriver, wrench kind of a hardware person. I just love that. So then I switched to industrial automation. That's where I learned everything about robotics, automation, manufacturing, and spent a lot of time on Indian shop floors to learn everything that I know today.
And then came across AI, and you want to apply AI to everything hardware.
Absolutely, and should we not be doing that? Software has had its run past few years. And now is the time when we can literally have AI manifest into something physical, embodied intelligence. And now is the time to do this, so why not? My co-founder brings a lot of expertise in AI. And when I come from manufacturing background, I think that's great to do this together.
Fantastic. Tell us, a lot of people in the audience must be from, people from small town, raise your hand, please. Yeah, a lot of people from small town here want to see what is it like to build a startup which is not based in Bangalore, Hyderabad, or Mumbai or Delhi?
So we do have a joke about it. We say, are we building a startup or are we building a product? Usually not the same thing, but let's say it is the same thing. We are building a product and a startup. It mainly comes down to a few things. It's money, it's talent, and then it's the other things in the ecosystem like your speed of iteration, where your customers are, and where do you find most focus. So money is definitely here in Bangalore. If I have to raise money, I have to come in Bangalore. That's what we did last year. In terms of talent, it's interesting. It's a double-edged sword. While you find a much more matured expertise here in Bangalore, there we have really less attrition rate. So once we find great people, we get to keep them. So that's one thing. Then two things is ecosystem. I don't think we have robotics ecosystem in India, be it Bangalore or anywhere. Then the next best thing is where do you iterate fastest? And so we are staying close to the customers, which is in Chandigarh. We are based out of Chandigarh, iterating really fast and building the product at the shop floor. And then the last thing is focus. I think Bangalore is a lot of good things, but also a lot of
Noise.
Yeah.
Distractions.
A lot of events. I mean, I do travel for the good ones, but other than that, I get the chance to not actually show up. So a lot of things together, you just have to decide where you are in your journey and choose accordingly.
Anubhi also just announced their seed round today. Talk about that, please.
Hell of a journey. Coming from Chandigarh, it's really expensive to come to Bangalore, and we had to spend days here, let's say weeks here, try to talk to people. I was in UK before I came back to India, so it was a completely new ecosystem for me. Did not know a lot of people. Absolutely great. I think I've enjoyed my time.
You think VCs understand DeepTech?
I think nobody understands DeepTech. We just understand what we are doing.
As diplomatic as it can be.
But yes, it's interesting. I think it's more of a chicken egg problem, like you said earlier. You don't see a lot of startups growing there, so you don't put a lot of money there. But because you don't put a lot of money there, you don't see a lot of startups growing. So it's a chicken egg problem.
Thank you. Anubhi, everyone.
Thank you.
At this point, I want to invite Dr. Jogin and Laina back on the stage, please. All of you people in the audience, if you have any questions, please raise your hand. We'll get you a mic. Any questions in the audience for my speakers here? Or myself? No? I have enough questions to ask. So, what is the best you can imagine for India in deep tech or broadly technology? You want to take a quick crack, Dr. Jogin? Yeah. Laina, please.
Sure. I do think that India has the correct talent, and I do think that when you start that virtuous cycle, I think robotics, gene therapy, connectomics, brain, that virtuous cycle creates that entire set of talent which finds it exciting. And so I do see that a lot of biotech coming out of India over the next few years. I think the situation is very ripe.
I think the best thing is a whole host of people who are trying to solve for India and not trying to create something for validation from outside. When that happens, a lot of things will start happening.
Fantastic. You want to take that?
I think India is a gold mine for data. And particularly in embodied intelligence, we have a lot of people we can use to collect as much data as we can across manufacturing and shop floors. And that could be one of the biggest bets India can take for embodied intelligence.
Fantastic. If you could change one thing about India, our ecosystem, don't say VCs, what would you like to change?
One thing I want to
Change about India and our ecosystem?
As in the startup ecosystem?
Yeah.
I think a little more focus on, as I said earlier, building the product instead of building the startup. You know, it's very different. That's what I have felt over the year. So that's something I would like to change. But in general, I'm learning. I've really enjoyed what I've done till now. So maybe you can take this
Change
question.
nothing.
Sure. I think people can scale their ambition. I think a lot of people, India has so much talent, but when you actually interact with people outside, you realize, hey, I'm as talented as that, right? And so when you kind of scale your ambition, you scale what you build. And I think that could be something that you increase in India.
So confidence in our own capability.
Yes, absolutely.
Dr. Jogin?
I think if I have to change one thing, you know, especially when we're talking about regulatory markets as ours, the realization that jugaad is a dirty word for us. We have to focus on quality, and that quality cannot come by jugaad. It has to be a very different mindset. And the other thing is once we have quality, we have to be able to trust each other. We need to migrate to a more high trust ecosystem, not just for people in the crowd, but in general as a society.
That's fantastic. Okay, last question. A lot of people in the audience are young people. I will take your question, sir. What is your advice to a 20, 25-year-old self of yours? All of you are more than 25, I know. What would you advise to a 20-year-old or 25-year-old yourself?
Oh, I would love to be a 20-year-old today's world because there's just massive opportunity out there. I think trying to create a base for yourself, that is number one, not just in the technical, but also in the softer skills, because that is something that we've seen missing. Some of our best scientists, by the way, are BTech in life sciences, not even masters, because they have the passion that they bring. So try and develop yourself all around, and try and look for possibilities. You can now do a startup when you're 20. It doesn't need to be when you are at 40 and above.
Yeah, I think India has developed so much. So I think our grandparents did farming, so our parents could do engineering, so we can do exciting things. And I think that's something that the 20-year-olds here should remember, that they have a lot of possibilities that they can actually look at, and that they themselves should not really be looking at IT jobs and all of that as their false safe option. They should look at startups, they should look at what they really want to do.
So as a 20-year-old self, you would take more risk?
Yes.
Okay. Anubhi?
Well, yes, I was going to say you have to be really bold and fearless. And to be fair, now we are living in the times where there's nothing to be there's nothing to fear, really. So many options, so many opportunities. You can learn anything from anywhere at any point of time. So 20s is the time to actually take those bold calls.
Fantastic. Risk-taking. One risk-taker in the entire audience. Yes, sir. If you have a question, you can shout out. Maybe Mike can get you. There's one more risk-taker. There's one more risk. I think we'll have only two. If you can do this in 15 seconds. Yes. Yeah, shout, please.
So, first of all, thanks for getting AI closer to the technology. That's first thing. Since I thought about India is a gold mine for data, how left and right and different ways of getting data. What is your control system on data, and what is the compliance regarding, because a lot of regulators on top of it. When you collect data and keep up data, what is your approach in terms of putting some controls?
What is your approach to manage data better?
It's mixed. Some data we control, some data is our customers, and it's about how we together come to the conclusion of who owns what. Sometimes we feel that if it's manufacturing or it's their industry, everything belongs to them, but it's really easier to sort of have that data within, for us only for the training sort of purpose. But other than that, if you're looking for other relevant answers, I think we'll take it off the stage.
Thank you. I have one gentleman here, sir. If you don't mind, shout, please. If you have a mic, please pick the mic.
I'm audible?
Yes, please.
Working professionals in terms of taking that leap of faith from corporate job to starting up, right? So with their monthly commitments of EMIs, family commitments, so on and so forth. So for time commitment and financial commitments, how do they manage that? And how do they start thinking in terms of identifying what is the next big thing that they should be working on in building the startup? Yeah?
Thank you for asking this, by the way.
There's no good answer. There is a shairi which says, for love, कि आग का दरिया है डूब के जाना है. So this is approximately like that, because as long as you have passion, you will go through it. But don't start it because it's a fashion, because otherwise you won't survive. So if you have passion, everything else will just solve itself.
Laina, Anubhi, you want to add?
I also think 40s is a great time to start. You've kind of done your thing. You've paid off EMIs. You've kind of built your family. And now you can and you've got your career behind you, right? Now you have the time and place to experiment. So not only the 20s, I would say 40s is a great time to experiment.
Last question on that side, please. Yes, sir. Shout out, please. The difference between startup and building a product you mentioned.
Startup is a lot of things, particularly when you're raising money, maybe for building a product you don't need money, maybe you need money. Sometimes when you're running a startup, you think you really have to raise money without thinking whether your product requires it or not, or when do you need it. So there's different stages of product building, and you are at what stage actually defines the kind of money you want, not the other way around. And so that's why I mean it's a lot of different things.
What is the second part? Yes, sir. How do you identify opportunity?
You can't. This is not an information-based decision. There will be a gut-based decision, which is where I said, identify the problem, not the opportunity. The problem that does not allow you to sleep at night. Once you find that, everything else flows from there.
What I have experienced, best entrepreneurs, even after long corporate careers, are people who are just very, very inspired by some personal anecdote. And that remains the center of why they started up. A lot of them fail, obviously, but those who succeed remain very focused on that particular objective. It's very personal mostly.
Okay, I think time's up, but I'll just take this one.
Yeah.
I actually forgot the question. What was the question?
How do you identify opportunity?
I think it's two things. Like you said, one thing is something that does not let you sleep at night. But other thing could also be, is it something, do you have something that really intrigues you? So for me, I don't think manufacturing did not let me sleep at night. But that was something that really intrigued me, like how robotics is working, how AI is working. And that made me think on those lines. So it really depends on either your passion or what's bothering you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening to us.